Hello, Richard Kastelein.
Hello.
Beautiful Dutch name, but you grew up in Canada.
Yeah, I grew up in Canada.
Nice to meet you. Well, you are a bit of a blockchain all-rounder. You do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I started off on the media side, actually. So I started Blockchain News in 2015, and it was acquired in 2017 by Peter Vicenis in Seattle. And since then, I've been focusing on blockchain education. My company, Blockchain Partners, has a contract with Oracle.
Yeah.
So we are training their 150,000 staff members globally.
150,000.
Well, not all of them, but we've been doing it all year.
As a newsman, and now you are.
Well, no, I'm
training 150,000
well, no,
people.
it's me, myself and my partner, who's an ex-NSA cryptographer, Dr. Christian Severino in Texas.
Yeah.
And we do WebEx Live remote. So we get 50 people from all over the world that work for Oracle, and we do like 4 hours of training. We teach them blockchain.
Yeah.
On the other side, I'm also working with doing ICO advisory.
Yeah. When you start training people in blockchain knowledge, what's the first thing you have to learn them?
Well, you have to get them over. You have to get them to that aha moment, when they finally get it.
Yeah.
That's the goal of like module 1.
Is it difficult?
Well, I think that my partner's really great. He's a professor at a university in Texas. He's a physicist. He's an ex-NSA cryptographer.
Okay.
He's a big
NSA cryptographer. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and he knows
how to do
and he's
it.
an Ethereum classic core developer. So he teaches and he understands exactly what he's teaching.
Yeah.
So I let him do most of the stuff, and I just do the commercial. I tell him about what's going on in the markets and what it looks like and how things are going.
You also a big advisor for ICOs.
Yeah, I'm working
right
on
now. 25 ICOs.
25, yeah.
Do you still have time to sleep, do anything else?
Well, I worked it out so that I give them a lot of value in a different way. Like my Rolodex, for instance, is vastly valuable. I have 100 companies.
A lot of connections.
A lot of connections. So
Financiers.
Yeah, and I also have long lists of investors and stuff that I've collected through various sources. So I give them a lot of data which they need to really explore on how to do their ICO, setting them up with third-party companies to help them.
Because that's the biggest challenge.
That's the biggest
ICOs.
challenge, is the knowledge. And for the rest of it, I've got some media background, so I help them, I get them in blockchain news. But, after that, it just becomes very high level, so it's like a half an hour a week on the phone, some of them, not all of them. Some of them I haven't even spoken to in like 3 months.
Okay.
So my work was done early, and I got them started, got the ball rolling, and they leave me alone after that. So
there's always a lot of discussions about ICOs because they're some people say there are a lot of scams going on, but I spoke to somebody before who said a lot of people, they think it's a magic thing, starting a blockchain company, and then their money starts rolling in, but they don't really know what they're doing.
I think
they don't do it on purpose. Sometimes.
I think we're beyond like this. The scam thing's bullshit, to be frank. Yeah, it's a label that everybody loves to put on something new that they don't understand, and it's not controlled and regulated. I mean, there have been some mighty scams.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some, but most of them get caught very early by the community, and they don't get anywhere. Some of them, some people have a go and they try and do something and they fail, but so what? 9 out of 10 startups fail in Silicon Valley. Yeah. Why should we be any different? Why should we be held to a different bar?
Well,
we're exploring.
Once you innovate, you're always held to higher standards, right?
We're exploring new technologies. Here, and it's great that we're able to provide liquidity and actually create that liquidity ourselves. A lot of the money that's invested in ICOs comes from the ICO community. Yeah. So the guy that bought in it like Ethereum at 30 cents in the pre-sale, spent $1,000, now has like $7 million, and he's investing it back into ICOs. Yeah. So it's our own liquidity that's going back in many of the cases. That's not really something that's discussed very much.
You mentioned regulation. You live in the Netherlands. You live, I think, up north, right?
Yeah, Groningen, yeah.
Yeah. Are we an ICO-friendly country?
You're getting there.
Yeah.
I know 2 or 3 ICOs now that have been working with the regulators, and they got the green light.
Yeah.
So even though Brussels is kind of like, everybody's kind of waiting for Brussels.
For EU.
I know that it's happened in France. Also, the regulators greenlit already a couple of ICOs, also in Austria.
Yeah.
So there are, and Malta's like going full on. They're an EU country, and they're creating a framework actually for ICOs. So.
Yeah. And also hear those stories about Switzerland.
Yeah, Switzerland's not in the EU though, so. They do their own thing.
They're a partner though, but they don't.
Tezos was a disaster for Switzerland. The whole Tezos affair, where the foundation, the Swiss member of the foundation ran off with money and shit like that. It was a disaster. Yeah. So Switzerland's still trying to crawl out of that hole.
Are we on schedule now in ICO regulation, or do we need to speed up?
You need to speed up.
Yeah, really?
You know why? Because
you're gonna miss
the UK is going to go out all after it because they're already losing the city, right?
Yeah.
They got nothing to lose with Brexit coming, and I think London's going to go hardcore. And Amsterdam should, the Netherlands should really get a little more agile, and instead of sitting around and bullshitting about it in Parliament all week, like make it happen.
Yeah. And what about China? There's always
funny because I have a business partner in China. I'm actually a chair professor at China's first blockchain university. So I've got an honorary PhD.
Where is it? What city?
It's in Nanchang.
Okay.
And I did a speaking tour in China last year with John Clippinger from MIT, and it was interesting. I mean, it's crazy there. Chinese love to gamble. So I have a friend, my business partner there, Jane Zhang. She has her contact list for WeChat groups is 1 million people for ICO investors.
1 million people.
1 million.
Let's like
everything in China is like ridiculously big, right?
1/17 of the Dutch population.
Yeah, in WeChat groups of investors. So I'm actually going to do a cruise from Shanghai to Japan and back on a cruise boat with 2,000 Chinese investors in August.
Yeah, the only thing is the Chinese government is very strict, right?
They're not. They're letting it go.
Really?
They want to clamp down on the scammers, but they realize that blockchain is. They don't want to stifle innovation either.
No.
I mean, that's not in China's interest. What they don't want to happen is the grannies getting ripped off in the villages.
And that's good, right?
Yeah,
that's good behavior.
Yeah. What was happening in China when they shut it all down is that you had all these ICOs that were taking white papers from the West, translating them straight into Chinese, and then just raising money.
It ain't gonna work that way, right?
They didn't have a clue what they were doing. Even it was like probably gangs, triad. I don't know, weird. All kinds of seedy individuals involved, but China wanted to clean that up.
Yeah,
and I understand that.
We shouldn't criticize the Chinese government too much, because every time, Bitcoin goes down or the currencies go down, it's like China.
Well, Chinese New Year is bad for us because China, they sell they cash in their Bitcoin because they go on holiday. Plus, they don't want any debt. It's bad luck to have debt at Chinese New Year. So that's quite funny, but it does have an impact.
So
and also tax season, because everybody had to pay capital gains on their Bitcoin.
Okay.
So that's what killed us also in April when all that high that came up from December and went. They
have a big influence.
Yeah, with Chinese New Year and then tax season in the West.
You already been on the stage, or you're still going? Okay. What was your most important message to the crowd?
ICOs are not all scams, because the guy that came before me was up there calling all ICOs scams. And I just really get...
I had him over here
I
on the table.
get deeply offended by that, actually.
Maybe you can
sort
it out with him.
Right? Where's the gloves?
Thanks a lot, Richard.
All right, cheers.
Thanks a lot, Richard.
All right.